The Mortal Kombat news will not stop coming. Every day, I swear, there's new info to talk about. And honestly, there's so many topics to discuss today. Let's start off with Reptile. This character was leaked intentionally by NetherRealm many months ago. In fact, it may have been over a year by now at this point. And even though every Mortal Kombat player already guessed that Reptile is going to be in this game since he wasn't in Mortal Kombat X, it's still very nice to finally have confirmation thanks to this intro dialogue between Kitana and Kenshi. A very big shout out to Uncaged Games for capturing all the different intro dialogue in the game so far that was available at the early hands-on demo.
I misjudged you and your comrades.
Didn't help you had a snake hissing in your ear.
There you have it, everybody. A snake hissing in your ear. Come on, it cannot get any more on the nose than that. What is a snake? It's a reptile. And what do reptiles do? They hiss. Come on, Kenshi is obviously talking about Reptile here. Which makes sense because ever since the very first Mortal Kombat game, Reptile has been a secret bodyguard for the rulers of Outworld. And as discussed in my previous video yesterday, Mileena is confirmed to be the queen of Outworld and not Edenia. And since Kitana in this game is confirmed to be looking out for Mileena, it makes sense that Reptile reports to her. For anyone not aware, maybe you're new to this channel, Kitana is confirmed to be the bodyguard of Mileena as well, only a bit closer because she's her sister. In fact, she's her biological sister in this timeline. The two actually are related by blood. Mileena is no longer part Tarkatan in this new game. Instead, she has some rare disease that is slowly altering her appearance and making her more like the Mileena we all know and love. But she's not part Tarkatan. She's not the result of Shang Tsung's experiments. In fact, I would not be shocked if Shang Tsung's not even in this new timeline. Even though he's confirmed playable in the game and is a pre-order bonus for the game, I think it's very likely that he's hopping timelines. Or maybe he's escaping the time prison, similar to what he did in Aftermath. Or maybe he is still in this timeline, but he simply does not work for Outworld. I doubt that Liu Kang, who sculpted this entire timeline, would allow Shang Tsung to have any sort of rank in any empire whatsoever. And that's important to take note of because I've seen other content creators claim that this dialogue could be referring to Shang Tsung, because the man is known to manipulate things from behind the scenes. And as a result, when Kenshi says snake, he's not being literal, he just means a traitor or somebody dubious trying to manipulate you. Some people believe that, and it could be true, but as for me, I think it's way too on the nose. A snake hissing in your ear, I think this confirms Reptile, because once again, he's always been the invisible bodyguard to Outworld's elite. And on top of that, he's also responsible for reconnaissance and any insider information because the guy can turn invisible. He's great for going behind enemy lines and learning secrets. So that's my theory, and don't forget that Ed Boon did say in this new game that allegiances have shifted. So even though Reptile has never served Kitana in the past, things could change this time around, and now instead of working for Shang Tsung, he's working for Kitana, a nice role reversal. I'm putting my money down on the table right now. I think this intro dialogue is literal and that Reptile is a secret informant and a bodyguard for Kitana and Mileena, because she's the queen of Outworld. Now next up, let's talk about Kenshi, because there's so much to talk about, including how he got blinded in this new timeline. Yes, believe it or not, I'm pretty sure the gameplay trailer already hints at this, and we're gonna talk about that in just a bit. But first up, let's talk about those tattoos. Everybody after watching the gameplay trailer noticed that Kenshi's tatted up. The man has arm tattoos going all the way down to his fingertips. You can even see it on his hand when he grips his sword. And as a result, many have assumed that Kenshi actually works with the Yakuza, which would be an interesting twist. Just like Ed Boon says, allegiances are different in this game, so Kenshi could be a bit of a bad boy. Although I think he'll definitely still end up being a good guy in the end, and a good guy for most of the story, but he could have a bit of a dark past. However, that being said, I believe Kenshi instead is working with the Black Dragon. And that's because, once again, the intro dialogues heavily hint at this.
Kuai Liang says I shouldn't trust the Black Dragon.
In this, as in all timelines, they are scoundrels.
You gotta love these intro dialogues, man. There is so much lore information in every single dialogue interaction. And part of me wonders if NetherRealm left that in on purpose at the gameplay demo. If so, I'm very grateful. There's so much content here. But yeah, I think it's very possible that Kenshi does in fact work with the Black Dragons in this game. And it could be this alliance is brand new or something that goes back way into Kenshi's past. There's no way to know for sure as of yet, but it could be possible all those tattoos on his body are from the Black Dragon Dragon Gang and not the Yakuza. Because keep in mind, in Mortal Kombat, Kano is always tatted up, so it could be that high-ranking members in the Black Dragon Gang have a lot of tattoos. But now finally it's time for the really cool information about Kenshi, and shoutouts to History Behind the Warrior for figuring a lot of this stuff out. Because even though I had early access to the game and had hands-on gameplay with Kenshi, I did not notice this. But if you look closely, even his spirit companion is blind. Yeah, and that's very important to take note of, because even if this spirit is not an ancestor of Kenshi, which he most likely is, but even if not, at the very least we know for a fact that he wielded Sento. And since this spirit is blind and Kenshi is also blind, it could be very likely that everyone who takes up Sento is doomed to become blind. And when I say that, I don't mean that Sento itself blinds you, although that could be possible. I think it's more of an indirect curse, as in literally anyone who takes up the blade of Sento will one day become blind. Now why is that? I imagine it's just the cost of having such a powerful blade. There's a give and a take. On the one hand, Sento grants you incredible power, but on the other hand, there is a trade-off and you become blinded for life. Or in fact, now that I think about it, it could be that Sento has the user blinded on purpose, that way you become dependent on it. Because keep in mind, in both the games and movies, it's been stated that Kenshi can only see when he holds the blade. Oh my god, the sword makes you blind so that you become a slave to it. You can't let it go lest you become actually blind. That is such an interesting theory and revelation, and I'm all here for it. However, here's the big reveal. I don't think Sento itself is what makes Kenshi blind. Instead, I believe that honor goes to Mileena herself. And you might find that hard to believe, but it's hinted at in the very first gameplay trailer itself. And shockingly enough, almost everybody missed it, myself included, but in this scene, when you see Mileena freaking out and losing control and transforming, the one person in the room right next to her is Kenshi, and he's not wearing his blindfold, which implies he's not actually blind yet, which is super interesting because the outfit he's wearing has him blinded by default when you play as him. He's never not wearing the blindfold. So if we take all that information and cram it together, it's very likely that Mileena loses control in this scene when she transforms, and then Kenshi, who's seated right next to her, is blinded. Either she claws his eyes out, bites them out, or grabs a sai and slashes them out, something of that nature. But no matter what happens, I do think it's very, very possible that Mileena is the reason Kenshi is blind in Mortal Kombat 1. However, that being said, it's still Sento that doomed him to this fate, because once again, anyone who grabs the blade will become blind eventually. And when it comes to Mileena, there's something very important worth noting in this scene. In the original trilogy of Mortal Kombat games, it is stated that Mileena is cursed with random fits of rage because she's part Tarkatan. And in the original timeline, Tarkatans are literally demon mutant people, so yeah, they're filled with crazy rage and they're blood hungry all the time. And because Mileena is part Tarkatan, every now and then she will just lose control and become extremely angry, violent, and aggressive. This is directly stated in the original games, and in fact, it's why Kitana never became close to her as a sister, even though the two of them were raised together. Kitana could never get close to her sister because every now and then she would just go crazy. And it seems like once again, that's the exact same case for Mortal Kombat 1. Mileena might be normal most of the time, but due to this new illness, she has random fits of rage where she can just hurt and kill anybody next to her. And it looks like poor Kenshi learned about that firsthand. And you know what, to end this video, let's talk a bit about Shang Tsung, because he's mentioned a lot in this game already. He's name dropped multiple times. In fact, it's very likely that Sub-Zero is actually working with him, or at the very least being influenced by him.
I wasn't aware of Shang Tsung's experiments.
Had you known, would your choice have been different?
So there you have it. It looks like Sub-Zero is working with Shang Tsung, or at the very least is being influenced by him. However, I don't think Bi-Han is working for Shang Tsung. That's very important. I just think he's allied with him. But keep in mind, it's very important to know that Bi-Han is not aware of who Shang Tsung actually is. That's why he tells Liu Kang, yo, I did not know how crazy Shang Tsung was. I had no idea about his experiments. And this is one more reason why I think Shang Tsung in this game is from a different timeline. It might not be the Aftermath timeline specifically, but I do think Shang Tsung in this game is from a different reality. And if I'm being honest, I prefer that. I love the idea of Shang Tsung not having any high rank in Adenia or Outworld. Instead, he's undercover behind the scenes manipulating people without any rank whatsoever. He's just got that charisma. Or who knows, maybe Shang Tsung will be in disguise like that one time he fooled Kenshi as Song.
If a man named Song approaches you, kill him. Why? Who is he?
No matter what the case may be, Mortal Kombat 1 is shaping up to be a very interesting game, so let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you think Reptile is coming? Do you think Mileena has blinded Kenshi? Let me know your theories in the comments down below. And then while you're down there, make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed. It really does help my channel out a ton. And then keep that combo going by subscribing and ringing that bell, that way you never miss any future videos. Because this channel of mine is always up to date with the latest Mortal Kombat 1 news, so make sure to ring that bell so you don't miss any future videos. Also, make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.